Picture the last traditional wedding you attended. You know that exact moment, usually right after dinner, where the music just abruptly stops.
Yeah, the classic momentum killer.
Exactly. A voice comes over the microphone, and the entire room is suddenly directed to look at, like a distant corner. And you're just standing there, maybe holding a lukewarm glass of champagne.
Right, and you just watch the newlyweds awkwardly grip that giant knife together.
Yes. To slice into a massive, usually heavily frosted cake. You applaud, the music kicks back in, and then, well, that's essentially it.
Yeah, it's over in a flash.
Right. The cake gets whisked away to some hidden kitchen, sliced into uniform little rectangles, and placed on a static, lonely table at the back of the room. You walk up, you take your assigned slice, you go back to your seat, and you eat it.
It's a very familiar ritual, but when you break down the mechanics of it, it's a highly passive experience.
It really is.
The guests are merely spectators to the dessert rather than, participants in it. It interrupts the flow of the evening rather than actually enhancing it.
That is the perfect way to put it. But today, for you listening, we are exploring a massive shift in how we celebrate. We are doing a deep dive into this really intriguing guide from the wedding planning platform Weddizer.
Oh, it's a great guide.
It is, and it features some fantastic insights from an industry expert known as masterstevemind. We're focusing on the rapidly rising trend of unlimited sweet treats, specifically the rise of gelato and ice cream carts at weddings.
Which is such a fun topic.
Right. Our mission today is to figure out why this mobile interactive dessert station is just rapidly becoming a must-have replacement for traditional wedding desserts. We want to understand how a simple wheeled cart completely changes the psychological dynamic, the energy, and the overall guest experience of a reception. Okay, let's unpack this.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we see that food stations are no longer just about the consumption of calories.
Right. It's not just feeding people anymore.
Exactly. In modern event planning, food is a core pillar of the entertainment itself. The Weddizer guide emphasizes that gelato carts provide an interactive guest experience.
Which is key.
Yeah, they allow guests to customize their treats, and they possess this universal appeal across all generations. I mean, from toddlers to grandparents, everyone loves ice cream.
Oh, absolutely.
But crucially, they create a natural gathering spot, which solves a major problem at large events.
I really want to look at that gathering spot concept because it makes a lot of sense when you think about the psychology of a reception. I always compare a traditional dessert table to, like, a museum exhibit.
A museum exhibit, I like that.
Yeah. You walk up to the velvet rope, you look at the perfectly arranged little tartlets, you take one without touching anything else, and you just quietly walk away.
It's very formal.
Exactly. It's formal, it's sterile. A gelato or ice cream cart is entirely different. It is like a hands-on science center.
Oh, for sure.
There are colors, there's movement, there's someone actively scooping, you're making choices. But let me play devil's advocate for a second here. Are we just trying to distract guests with a shiny object? I mean, weddings are already packed with speeches, dances, dinners. Does standing in line at a dessert cart actually add genuine value to a reception, or is it just, a gimmick to keep people busy?
Well, it adds significant psychological value because it removes social friction.
Okay, how so?
Think about the reality of a standard wedding reception. You, the guest, might be seated next to your partner's coworkers, or maybe distant relatives you haven't seen in a decade.
Right, the dreaded small talk.
Exactly. The small talk often dries up right around the time dinner finishes, so that hands-on science center feel you mentioned. It forces engagement through shared activity.
Oh, I see.
When you are standing at a cart, debating whether to get vanilla or chocolate, the physical activity of queuing and choosing provides an easy, low-stakes conversation starter with the person next to you.
Oh, you're going with the sprinkles, something like that.
Exactly. It bridges gaps in a way that eating a pre-cut slice of cake in silence at a table simply doesn't. Furthermore, the source notes that outdoor or summer weddings can get uncomfortably warm.
Oh yeah, they can be brutal.
Right. So these carts serve a highly functional purpose too. They physically cool the guests down, keeping them refreshed. And comfort directly correlates to how long guests stay and how much energy they bring to the celebration.
That makes total sense. And here's where it gets really interesting because that social dynamic leads perfectly into the actual physical presence of the cart in the room.
A visual element.
Yes, we aren't just talking about the food, we're talking about the aesthetics. The Weddizer guide points out that these carts bring a distinct visual charm.
They really do. They're gorgeous.
They feature these vintage-inspired designs, colorful displays, and they instantly add what the source calls a luxury touch and a sophisticated European aesthetic to the room. But the concept that really jumped out at me is flexible placement.
What's fascinating here is how the cart solves a very common, very frustrating architectural problem for event planners.
Which is?
Well, traditional catering setups dictate the flow of traffic, usually creating these massive bottlenecks in corners of the room. A mobile cart acts as a piece of functional decor that seamlessly adapts to the venue's natural flow.
I look at it like an indoor campfire.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Right. The hosts can literally just pick up the gravitational pull of the room and move it. You want to draw people out to the patio as the sun sets, roll the cart out there.
Yeah.
You want to keep the energy near the dance floor later in the night, park it right on the edge. But I do have a question about this aesthetic focus.
Okay, what's your thought?
The source material talks heavily about the Instagram-worthy factor and how these carts create shareable photo opportunities. I see the appeal, but does that hyper-focus on aesthetics risk turning a genuine, intimate celebration into just another curated photo shoot for social media?
That is a fair critique of modern event culture for sure. But I think it kind of misunderstands how guests use photos today.
Okay, clarify that for me.
It's not necessarily about vanity. It's about narrative building. In today's culture, guests want to document their experiences to build their own personal memories of the event.
Right, it's their personal scrapbook.
Exactly. A beautiful vintage-style gelato cart provides an organic aesthetic backdrop for those moments. It doesn't force a photo shoot the way, say, a cheesy photo booth with feather boas might.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean, the oversized sunglasses.
Right. Instead, it offers a visually stunning environment where people naturally want to capture their joy. It elevates the visual theme of the wedding, turning a simple act of getting dessert into a really memorable, cinematic moment.
That reframing helps a lot. It's less about showing off and more about providing a beautiful setting for the memories people are already going to make anyway.
Precisely.
Let's zoom in on the actual culinary breakdown here, though. The guide draws a very specific line in the sand between gelato and ice cream.
A very important distinction.
Yes. What are guests actually being served, and why does this distinction matter so much? Because when I read the breakdown in the source, the science behind it genuinely surprised me. Wait, so less air is what makes gelato a premium luxury experience?
It seems entirely counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It really does.
We often associate culinary luxury with volume or lightness.
Yeah.
Think of a delicate souffle or a towering sponge cake.
Right, light and fluffy.
But in the world of frozen desserts, air is technically known as overrun. Traditional commercial ice cream can have a very high overrun, meaning a massive amount of air is rapidly whipped into the base during the freezing process.
Okay.
It increases the volume, which is great for commercial profit margins, but it completely dilutes the flavor. The source explicitly explains that gelato contains significantly less air.
How do they actually achieve that, though? How do you keep the air out?
It comes down to the churning speed and the serving temperature. Gelato is churned at a much slower speed than traditional ice cream.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that slower speed prevents excess air from folding into the mixture. This lack of air results in a much denser, heavier, and silkier texture. Because it's denser, there is literally more flavor packed into every single spoonful.
Wow.
Additionally, gelato is traditionally served at a slightly warmer temperature than ice cream.
Wait, really? Warmer?
Yes, extreme cold actually numbs the taste receptors on your tongue.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. By serving it slightly warmer, the intense, concentrated flavors are immediately accessible to your palate. That is why gelato is associated with a sophisticated, European-inspired dessert experience. It feels artisan because the production method respects the ingredients.
The mechanics of that are fascinating. You're getting an unfiltered flavor experience because your tongue isn't frozen and the ingredients aren't padded out with air bubbles.
Exactly.
But I appreciate that the guide doesn't just dismiss ice cream in favor of gelato. It points out that ice cream provides a classic, familiar nostalgia.
Yeah, there's always a place for ice cream.
Right. It's a safe, crowd-pleasing choice, especially for the younger guests. The ultimate recommendation from the source is actually to find a vendor that offers both, giving you the best of both worlds.
Which is brilliant.
And the flavor lists they provided in the guide, they are extensive, They specifically mention offering classic vanilla, chocolate fudge, salted caramel, and pistachio gelato.
Alongside strawberry delight, mango sorbet, and cookies and cream.
Yes. And the topping combinations they list let guests essentially express their distinct personalities.
Oh, the toppings are the best part.
They really are. You have fresh berries, chocolate chips, crushed cookies, caramel drizzle, rainbow sprinkles, mini marshmallows, nuts and almonds, fruit syrups, chocolate sauce, and whipped cream.
That is quite the spread.
It is. You could have one guest who builds a highly elegant cup of pistachio gelato with almonds and fresh berries.
Oh, yeah.
Very adult, very refined.
Right.
And right behind them in line is a guest who goes full childhood nostalgia with cookies and cream, loaded up with rainbow sprinkles, mini marshmallows, and chocolate sauce. It's a choose-your-own-adventure dessert.
That level of customization is the absolute heart of the interactive experience. However, looking at the menu from a broader hospitality perspective, there is another detail in that culinary breakdown that is critical.
What's that?
The source explicitly notes the absolute necessity of providing vegan and dairy-free options.
Oh, absolutely.
Modern catering cannot operate on a one-size-fits-all model anymore. By ensuring there are high-quality alternatives for guests with dietary restrictions, the vendor guarantees that no guest is isolated from this interactive social hub.
I completely agree with the principle of inclusivity. There's nothing worse than being at a gorgeous event, seeing everyone else gathering around this amazing food station, and realizing you can't eat a single thing.
It's a terrible feeling.
But let me challenge the execution of that for a second. Does a dairy-free mango sorbet actually deliver that luxury European feel we just talked about with the dense gelato? Or does it feel like a thin, icy consolation prize for the vegans while everyone else eats the good stuff?
Well, if you're dealing with an average caterer, it might be a consolation prize.
Right.
But a true artisan vendor treats sorbet with the exact same scientific rigor as gelato. High-quality sorbet relies on the natural pectins in the fruit to create a creamy mouthfeel without a drop of dairy.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Pectin does the heavy lifting.
Exactly. And because there is no milk fat to coat the palate, a well-made mango sorbet actually delivers a much sharper, more vibrant punch of flavor than dairy-based ice creams.
That's fascinating.
So no, it is not a downgrade. When executed correctly, it is a premium culinary experience in its own right, ensuring the inclusivity feels intentional rather than like an afterthought.
That makes perfect sense. The science of the fruit pectin replaces the function of the dairy fat. So having a beautiful vintage cart with gourmet, slow-churn gelato and vibrant fruit sorbets is a fantastic concept.
Yes.
But executing it flawlessly requires a strategic blueprint. We need to transition from the idea of this cart to the actual logistics of pulling it off.
The behind-the-scenes work.
Right. The source lays out a few key steps, like estimating the guest count meticulously so those unlimited servings don't actually run out halfway through the night.
A very real fear.
Exactly. And designing the cart to match the specific wedding color palette. But the biggest factor they highlight is the perfect timing.
Ah, yes. Timing is everything.
The planners recommend opening the cart after dinner, but before the dancing reaches its peak. So what does this all mean? From a practical standpoint, if you are paying for an incredible unlimited gelato cart, why not just have it open the entire night? Why strictly enforce this specific window?
This raises an important question about the psychology of event pacing. A wedding reception is a marathon, not a sprint.
It really is.
The average reception lasts 4 to 5 hours, and guest energy levels naturally ebb and flow during that time. If you open a dessert cart too early, say during cocktail hour, guests will fill up on sugar.
And ruin their dinner.
Exactly. Which ruins their appetite for the expensive plated dinner and undercuts the main meal.
Right, but what about